Right, Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will study inequalities chapter 3, inequalities. So here you can see first of all we need to study some of the rules of inequalities. You can see the first rule: if A is smaller than B, if A is smaller than B and B is smaller than C, then A should also be smaller than C, because here A is smaller than B, again B is smaller than C, so that means here C is the largest. So here C is the largest and A is the smallest, so A should also be smaller than C. Again, if A is smaller than B, in that case A plus C should also be smaller than B plus C, because we are adding same amount on the left hand side and also on the right hand side. We are adding same amount on the left hand side and on the right hand side. If A is increased by C amount and B is also increased by same amount, in that case relationship will be same, relationship will not change. Now the third formula: if A is smaller than B, then AC should also be smaller than BC, because we are multiplying same amount, because we are multiplying both left hand side and right hand side by the same amount. So that's why relationship will not change. Next one: if A is greater than B, then 1 by A should be smaller than 1 by B, because here instead of A we are having 1 by A, that means inverse of A, and also we are having 1 by B, inverse of B. So that means obviously relationship will also change, relationship will reverse, we will get a reverse relationship, that means inverse of the relationship, that means opposite relationship, that means smaller than 1 by A should be smaller than 1 by B. If A is greater than B, then 1 by A should be smaller than 1 by B. Again, if A by C is greater than B by D, then if you take inverse of A by C, that means C by A, if you take inverse of B by D, that means D by B, in that case relationship will also change, relationship will be changed. If A is greater than B, then minus A should be smaller than minus B, because you have changed the sign. If you change the sign, relationship will also change. Relationship was greater than, now it will become smaller than. If A is greater than B and N is greater than 0, N is greater than 0 means the value of N is positive. If the value of N is positive, that means greater than 0, and if A is greater than B, in that case A to the power N should also be greater than B to the power N. But A to the power 1 by N, should be smaller than B to the power 1 by N. Now let's solve question number 1. Here in question number 1 we have x plus 3 is smaller than 7. So similarly, like a simple equation, what we will do, we will take these 3 to right hand side. We will move these 3 to right hand side. So if you move these 3 to right hand side, here it was plus. If you move it to right hand side like a simple equation, it will become minus. So 7 minus 3, that means 4. That means x should be smaller than 4. Now the next one. Here we have minus 6x is greater than 24. So obviously first we need to what? We need to move this number to right hand side. So if you move this one to right hand side, we will have 24 divided by 6. So 6 will go into the denominator like normal equation, right? So 24 divided by 6 is equal to 4. That means minus x is greater than 4. Now we are changing the sign. Here we have minus x. Here we have minus x. So we are getting only x there. So we have changed the sign. since you have changed the sign on the left hand side, you have to change the sign on the right hand side as well. Here this is plus, so we will have a minus there. So we are changing sign in both sides. We are changing sign in both sides. Since we have changed the sign, relationship will also change. Relationship was greater than, relationship was greater than, now it will become smaller than. I am saying again, we are changing the sign in both sides. It was minus on the left hand side, we are getting a plus on the left hand side. So, and since you have changed the sign on the left hand side, since you have changed the sign on the left hand side, so this one will, sign of this one will also change. Here the sign of this one is plus, it will become minus. Since we have changed the sign on both sides, so relationship will change. So it was greater than, now it will become smaller than. So that's the answer. Right, so next one. So we want to solve this one. So we want to solve this one. To solve this one, obviously first we need to simplify. So we will multiply these two. So if you multiply these two, we will get twice x plus 2. And then we will multiply this. We will multiply this. If you multiply this, we will have minus 3x and minus a plus. So 3 multiplied by 4 by 3. 3 multiplied by 4 by 3. So these 3 and these 3 will cancel each other out. So we will have a plus 4 there. We will have a plus 4 there. And if you bring these one to left hand side, we have a plus. Here it is plus. If you bring it to left hand side, we will get minus 7x there, right? So if you simplify, what we will get? Twice x. Here we have minus 3x. And here we have minus 7x. So total minus 10x. So 2x minus 10x, we will get minus 8x. And then 2 plus 4, we will get 6. Right. So here we will have minus 8x. If you bring these one from left hand side to right hand side, it will become minus 6. Now we will change the sign. So if you change the sign on both sides, for example, here we have minus, we will get plus. Here also we have minus, we will get plus. So if you change the sign on both sides, relationship will also change. Now it is greater than, now it will become smaller than. So 8x is smaller than 6. So x is, so we will, if you bring this 8 to right hand side, we will have 6 divided by 8. So 6 divided by 8 means, if you apply process of cancellation, we will have 3 divided by 4. So x is smaller than 3 divided by 4. Right. So we can solve this one in different way as well. For example, we can solve it in here we have minus 8x greater than minus 6. Minus 8x greater than minus 6. So now for example, if you instead of moving this one to right hand side, let us move these one to right hand side. So if you move these one to right hand side, what we will have? If you move these one to right hand side, we will have this. Because here we have minus 8x. If you move these one to right hand side, we will have plus 8x. And in the left hand side, we will have 6. Now pay attention. So here, that means here, now if you move this 8 to right hand side, what we will have is 6 divided by 8. 6 divided by 8 x. So it's greater than x. So if you move these one to right hand side, we will have 6 divided by 8 greater than x. Now if you apply process of cancellation, in that case, here we will have 3, here we will have 4, right? So now pay attention. Here this part we have the squeezed part. That means in this part, so pay attention, this signal, this sign is actually meaningful. So pay attention on the left hand side of this part of this sign. You see it is spreaded. That means larger part. So larger part will stay on this side. So you can see this part is spreaded. So that means the larger part will stay here, and this part, is, you can see the mouse pointer here. You can see this part is squeezed part. So that means this is the smallest part. So if you just so that means we can write it like x is smaller than 3 by 4. X is smaller than 3 by 4 because here x is in the squeezed part. So that means x should be in the squeezed part, and spreaded part, this is the spreaded part. You can see this is the spreaded part. So this is the spreaded part. That means 3 by 4 should be in the spreaded part. So that means it's like that. So you can solve it using this way also. Right. Right. So now we will move to Chapter 4, Simultaneous Linear Equations. So if you want to solve a set of equation, like this, so you can use calculator to solve this set of equation. So in our secondary level, we have studied how to solve this question using replacement method, right? But we will not solve using that method. We will use calculator, scientific calculator. So if you want to solve this set of equation, here as you can see, here x is one variable, y is another variable, z is another variable. So we have 3 variables there, right? In the first equation we have x, y, z. In the second equation also we have x, y, z, 3 variable, but variables are not arranged like the first equation. And again in the third equation also we have x, y, z, 3 variable, but again in the third equation also variables are not arranged accordingly, right? So if you want to solve this set of equation using scientific calculator, what do you have to do? First, remember, so here you need to get a table like that. Oh, okay, you need to get a table like that. Here we have 3 variables, x, y, and z. So x will be considered as the first variable, y will be considered as the second variable, z will be considered as the third variable, and whatever value you have on the right hand side of the equations, we will consider it as d. So we have 3 equations there. So x, the coefficient of x will be considered as a. Coefficient of the second variable, coefficient of the first variable will be considered as a, coefficient of the second variable will be considered as b, coefficient of the third variable will be considered as c, and whatever you have on the right hand side of the equation, that will be considered as d. So in the first equation we can see that coefficient of x is 2. So a is 2. In the first equation, we are in the first equation now. In the first equation, coefficient of y is 3. In the first equation, coefficient of z is minus 4. So coefficient of z is minus 4. This is c. right, in the second equation. So and the right hand side of the first equation, we have 1. So D is 1. Right, now we will move to second equation. So in the second equation, the coefficient of x is plus 3, that means only 3. So 3. Coefficient of y is, in the second equation, coefficient of y is minus 1, and the coefficient of the z is, in the second equation, coefficient of z is minus 2, and in the right hand side of the second equation we have 4, so D is 4. Now we will move to third equation. So in the third equation, coefficient of x is 4, coefficient of y is minus 7, and coefficient of z is minus 6, and on the right hand side of the equation we have minus 7, so D is minus 7. Right, so now I will show you how to use calculator to solve this question. So let us first go for the old type of calculator. So this is the, if you have this type of calculator, then you should press mode first. If you press mode again and again, and then you should press mode again and again, to get EQN. So to get, this is EQN means equation mode. So to get equation mode, you have to press the number below it. That means you should press 1 now. So if you press 1 now, you will enter into the equation mode. So press 1. So after you press 1, you will see that in the calculator display, a question will appear: unknowns question mark. So unknowns question mark means calculator wants to know how many variable you have in the equation. Unknown means variable. So calculator is asking how many variable you have in the equation. So we can see we have three variable x, y and z. So we have 3 unknown or 3 variable in the equation. So 3 variable we have. So we will press 3. So after you press 3, you will see the question will come as A1 is what? After you press 3, we have 3 variables there. After you press 3, you will see a new question will come, A1 question mark. So that means A1 means what is the value of A? 1 means first equation. So what is the A1 question mark will come? That means A1 means question, it is calculator wants to know what is the value of A in the first question. So here the value of A in the first question, first equation, the value of A in the first A1 means this is A and this is 1 means equation 1. So what is the value of A in the equation 1? So value of A in the equation 1 is 2. So you will press 2. So you will press 2 in your calculator now, and then press equal. After you press equal, you will get another question. B1 is equal to what? That means what is the value of B? 1 means first equation. So B1 means this is the B1. So this is the value of B in the first equation, that is 3. So if you press 3 in this calculator, you should press equal. After you press equal, another question will appear, C1 question mark. That means calculator wants to know the value of C1. So value of C1 is minus 4. So you should press minus 4 and then equal. You should press minus 4 and then equal. Then a new question will come. D1 question mark. So that means D1 question mark means what is the value of D? That means what is the value of the right hand side of the equation? That means, so in equation 1 the value of D is 1. So press 1 and then equal. So now the question will come A2 question mark. That means calculator wants to know the value of A in the second equation. So similarly, you should input all the values. You should press input all the values of these equations. So after you input all the values of all these equation, you should press equal again, and then you will get x is equal to, you will get x, the value of x. After you get the value of x, press equal again, you should get the value of y now. After you get the value of y, you should press equal again to get the value of z, right. So after you finish calculating this one, if you want to come back to normal mode, press mode and then 1. If you want to come out of the equation mode, you should press mode and then 1. So if you press that, you will come back to normal mode. Now if you have this type of calculator, in that case, what do you have to do? Press mode, and then you can see equation mode, that means number 5. You should choose number 5 to choose equation mode, and then you will choose number 2 here. In number 2, you can see 3 variables are there. So if you press number 1, if you press number 1, if you have only x and y variable, that means 2 variable. You will press number 1. If you will press number 1, if you have only 2 variable. You will press number 1 if you have only x and y, that means 2 variable in the equation, right? If you will press number 1 if you have only 2 variables, that means only 2 variables in the equation. In that case, you will choose 1. If you have 3 variables in the equation, then you should choose, if you have 3 variables in the equation, then you will choose number 2. So after you press number 2, you will get something display like this. You will get a display like this. So after you press, if you have 3 variables in the equation, you should choose number 2. You should choose number 2. So if you choose number 2, you will see 3 equations. 1, 2, 3 means 3 equation. Here A, B, C D column will be there. So you should input all the values there. After you press all the value, press equal to input that value. So the cursor will move to new cell, and then you type the value and press equal to input the value, and then the cursor will move to adjacent cell, next cell. In that way, you should input all the values. You should input all the values in those columns and rows. So after you input all the value, press equal. If you press equal, you will get the value of x, and after you get the value of x, press equal again, you will get the value of y. After you get the value of y, press equal again, you will get the value of z. You will get the value of z. So this way you can use this calculator to get the values, right? But if you have 2 variable in the equation, after you enter into equation mode, you should choose number 1. Here you can see we have 2 variable in number 1. Here in number 1 we have 2 variables. If you have 2 variable in the equation, you will choose number 1. So if you are using old form of calculator, if you have 2 variables in the equation, you will press 2 here. If you have this type of calculator, if you are solving a set of equation with 2 variables, in that case, after you get this question, you should press number 2. You should press 2 and then equal, right? Right, so now, using calculator, if you solve this set of equation, you will get the answer is the value of x will be 3 and y will be 1 and z will be 2. So similarly we can solve this example as well. So here we have three variables. Here we have three variables p, q and r. P, q and r. So here we have three variables p, q and r. Right. So p, q and r. So here we have three variables p, q. Right. So in this, now we will solve this set of equation. In this set of equation we have three variables p, r and q. So when you get variables like this, always it's better if you consider these variables alphabetically. So if you can consider it like p, q, r, or you can consider it as the way you wish. Right. So here p, q, r, we have three variables there, and we are considering that the coefficient of p is the first variable, so coefficient of p is a, q is the second variable, coefficient of q is b, and r is the third variable, so coefficient of r will be c, and whatever you have on the right hand side of the equation, that will be d. So here, as you can see, the coefficient of p in the first equation is 6. So p is 6, a is 6. The coefficient of q in the first equation is 8. So b1 is 8. So coefficient of r in the first equation is -2. So is -2, c is -2. And in the right hand side we have 50. In the right hand side we have 50. So d is 50. Right. So again, in the second equation, coefficient of p is 5. Coefficient of p is 5. Coefficient of q in the second equation is 7, -7. So -7, and the coefficient of r in the second equation is 9. Coefficient of r in the second equation is 9, and in the right hand side we have 90. In the right hand side we have 90. Now in the third equation, coefficient of p is 6. Coefficient of p is 6. Coefficient of q. In the third equation, we do not have any q. In the third equation, we have no q there. So coefficient is 0. Coefficient is 0. No q is there. That means coefficient is 0. So coefficient of q in the third equation is 0. And in the third equation, the coefficient of r is 3. So coefficient of r is 3 in the third equation. In the right hand side we have 60. In the right hand side we have 60. So if you put the value in your calculator and solve it, you will see the value of p is equal to this one, q is this one, and r is this one. So this way you can solve a set of equations. Now example 3. In example 3, we have this equation and this equation, and we need to solve it. So here we have two variables, here also two variables, but the equations are not organized. So let us simplify first. So the first equation we have is x by 6 plus y by 15 is equal to 4. So let us simplify this one a little. So here we have in the denominator we have 6. And here in the denominator we have 15. So we need to find out the LCM, least common multiple. In Bengali we call Loshagu. So if you want to find out the LCM or Loshagu between two number, always first deal with the higher number. So just ask yourself, can you divide this 15 by 6 without any remainder? Without any remainder? That means, so check this one. If it is not, then you double it. So if you double it, we have 30. We will get 30. So if you divide 30 by 6, there will be nothing remaining. So no remainder will be there. So that means 30 is the LCM. 30 is the LCM or Loshagu. So if you do this, so here we have 6, here we have 30, we will get 5x plus 15, and here we have 30, so we will get 2 multiplied by y, we have 2y. is equal to 4. So if you do cross multiplication, we will have 5x plus 2y is equal to 30 multiplied by 4, which is 120. Right. So similarly, you can solve these one also. X by 3 minus y by 12 is equal to 19 by 4. So similarly here also we can solve it. So if you solve it, you will see that the equation we have is, so here if you solve it, you will see this equation. So this 12 will get multiplied by this 19 under cross multiplication rule, and then this 12 and 4, if you apply process of cancellation, here we will have 3. So 3 multiplied by 19, we will have 57. So 4x minus y is equal to 57. So now we have two equations. First equation is 5x plus twice y is equal to 120. In the second equation, we have 4x minus y is equal to 57. So we need to solve these two equations to find out the two values of the find out the value of the two variables. So that means here we have two variables there. So here we have two variables. So two variables here. So if you solve it using your calculator, if you are using old form of calculator, if you are using this form of calculator, since we have only two variables there, so you will press 2 and then press equal. If you are using this form of calculator, in that case you will choose this one. So if you are using this form of calculator, you will choose number 1. Because in number 1 we have two variables there. You will choose number 1. If you choose number 1, you will have these things, and you will put the values of a, b, c, and in the second equation you will put the values of a, b, and c. Excuse me. So if you solve it, so here you can see the first variable is x. So the coefficient of the first variable in the first equation is 5, and coefficient of the second variable in the first equation is 2, and in the right hand side we have 120. So now we will move to second equation. So coefficient of the first variable is 4, which is 4. Coefficient of second variable, that is y. Coefficient of y is minus 1. So coefficient of y is minus 1, and in the right hand side we have 57. If you use your calculator and solve it, you will see the value of x is 18 and value of y is 15. Now we will move to chapter 5, quadratic equation. So if you move to chapter 5, quadratic equation, this is a quadratic equation, or in other way we can call it second degree equation. So now we will move to say quadratic equation, chapter 5. So this is a quadratic equation. In other way we can call it second degree equation. Why second degree? Because the highest power over the variable is 2. The highest power here, the variable is x, and the highest power over the variable is 2. So that's why we can also call it a second degree equation. So if you want to solve an equation like this, always remember you need to resemble this equation, or you need to match this equation with these equation. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So you can see here, with the square term, with x square, with the square term of the variable, we have a here. Again, in this equation, with the square term of the variable, we have 3 here. So that means value of a is equal to 3. So again, here with only variable, we have b here. So here with no power, that means with only x, with only variable, we have minus 5. So b is minus 5, and the remaining thing will be c, and the remaining part without the variable, and the remaining part without the variable will be c. So here c is 2. C is 2. So if you have an equation like that, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then you can use this formula, and you can use this formula to calculate the value of x. So the value of x will be minus b. The formula is x is equal to minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac divided by twice a. If you input the values of a, b, c there, so here a is equal to 3, and minus, this is the minus from the formula, and b is minus 5. B is minus 5. So minus a plus 5. We will get a plus 5 here. And then in the formula we have plus minus root over b square. B square means minus 5 whole square minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c, that is 3 into 2. So if you calculate, you will see that you will get 5 plus minus 1 divided by 6. So we will take the plus value, we will take either plus value or minus value. So 5 plus 1 divided by 6, and then we will take minus 1, 5 minus 1 divided by 6. So if you calculate, you will always get two values of x, because this is a second degree equation. So you should always get two values of the variable. So this way you can calculate. The value, you can solve the equation using formula. This way here you can use this way you can solve an equation using formula, right? So but if you are using old form of calculator, that means if you are using this form of calculator, in that case what do you have to do? In that case you need to go for, if you are using this form of calculator, you should choose equation mode. You should press mode and go to equation mode, and after you go to equation mode, this message will come, unknowns. So if you are solving with only one variable, if you are solving only one equation with only one variable, if you are solving an equation with only one variable, in that case you don't need to worry about this question. Instead, what you can do, this is the scroll button. This round button is called scroll button. You need to press the right hand side of this button. If you need to press the right hand side of this button, see, you need to press the right hand side of this button. If you press the right hand side of this button, you will get degree. You will get another question. Question will come, degree question mark. So degree question mark. So as I said, this is a second degree equation. So degree is 2. So press 2. So you should press 2 here. So you should press 2. And then equal. You should press 2 and then equal. You should press 2. This 2. You should press 2 in your calculator. When you get this question, you should press 2 in your calculator and then press equal. After you press equal, you will see the question. You will see that a question will come, a question mark. That means calculator is asking you the value of a. So here the value of a is 3. So after you press 3 and then you should press equal, another question will appear, b question mark. So calculator is asking you the value of b. So here the value of b is minus 5. So press minus 5 and then equal. So another question will appear, c question mark. So now the value of c is 2. So press 2 and then press equal. And then press equal again. If you press equal again, you will see the value of x will come. So you will see the value of x will come. After you get the value of x, press equal again. So you will get the second value of x. The first value of x is x1. and if you press equal, you will get x2, that is second value of x. As I said before, this is a second degree equation, so you should always get two values of x. You should always get two values of x. Right. So, but if you are using new form of calculator, if you are using this type of calculator, in that case, you should press mode and then choose equation mode. That means press 5, and then after you press 5, you should choose. This is C. So see, number 3. In number 3, we have only one variable. This is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That is only one variable is there. So to solve this equation, with only one variable, you should choose number 3 here. You should choose number 3. So if you press number 3 here, you will see A, B, C is there. You should press the value of A there and then equal. And then you should press the value of B and then equal. And then you should press the value of C and then equal. And then you should press equal again. You will see the value of x1. So that means first value of x. That means, and then if you press equal again, you should get x2. That means second value of x. As I said before, if you want to come back to normal mode, you should press mode and then 1 to get back to normal mode. So now let us solve question number 2. So here in this question we have 3x square minus 14x plus 8 is equal to 0. So as I said before, here with the square term, the coefficient of the square term is a. So that means value of a is 3, and coefficient of the only variable without the power, is the b. So b is minus 14, and the remaining part is c. So c is plus 8. So you can use the formula to solve it. You can also use calculator to solve it. Right, so let us move to example 3. Here we have x to the power 10 minus 33 x to the power 5 plus 32 is equal to 0. So let us solve this question. So if you want to say, here we have x to the power 5 and here we have x to the power 10. So if you have something like that, we can write it like this: x to the power 5 square, x to the power 10, we can break it like x to the power 5 square, because power inside the bracket will get multiplied by power outside the bracket. So 5 multiplied by 2 will get our power 10 back. So like that way we can write. So let x to the power 5 is equal to m. So we are assuming that x to the power 5 is m. So if you assume x to the power 5 as m, so we have m square. And then if you assume x to the power 5 as m, so here we have minus 33m plus 32 is equal to 0. So here, as I said before, here now we want to solve this equation. So if you want to solve an equation like that, so in this equation, this is the variable, m is the variable. In this equation, m is the variable, and this is the square term of the variable. So with this square term of the variable, we do not have any coefficient. So we do not have any coefficient means we actually have 1 as the coefficient. We do not have any coefficient, that means we have coefficient that is 1. So that means we have coefficient 1. That means the value of a is equal to 1. Right, the value of a is equal to 1. And then, as I said before, with only variable, the coefficient of only variable without the power is b. So b is minus 33. And c is the remaining part. So c is 32. So if you use the formula, you can solve it. or you can also use the calculator to get the value. So you can also use the calculator to get the value. Right. So now we can see that here the value of m, we will get two values of m. We will get two values of m. So the first values of m is equal to 32 and the second value of m is 1. So if you solve it, you will see that you will get two values of m. You will get two values of m from this equation. If you solve this equation, m square minus 33m plus 32 is equal to 0. If you solve this equation, you will get two values of m. First value of m is 32, second value of m is 1. But we don't want to get the value of m. We want to get the value of x. So we have assumed that m is equal to x to the power 5. m is equal to x to the power 5. So that means the first value of m is 32. So that means x to the power 5 is equal to m is x to the power 5. M is x to the power 5. So x to the power 5 is equal to 32. So x will be equal to 32 power 1 by 5. So if you move this power from left hand side to right hand side, we will have 32 power 1 by 5. So you know that 32 can be written as, we can write 32 as 2 power 5. So 32 can be written as 2 power 5. So here we have, inside the bracket we have power 5, outside the bracket we have power 1 by 5. So this 5 will get multiplied by 1 by 5. That means this 5 will cancel out this 5. So we will have only 2 to the power 1. Only 2 to the power 1. That means only 2. Again, this one can be written as like this. X to the power 5 in the left hand side, and in the right hand side we have 2 to the power 5. So as you can see, in the left hand side also power 5, in the right hand side also power 5. So that means both of these power will cancel each other out. So we will have x is equal to 2. So we can write it like that way as well. So the value of x is 2. Right. Again, another value of m we got is, as I said before, if you solve that equation, you would get two values of m. So another value of m is 1. So as I said, m is equal to x to the power 5. So x to the power 5 is equal to 1. So x will be equal to, if you move this power from left hand side to right hand side, we will have 1 power 1 by 5. So as you know, whatever is the power over 1, so 1 power something doesn't really matter, we will get 1 back. So whatever power you have over 1 doesn't really matter, you will get your 1 back. So x is equal to 1. So we get two values of x. First value of x is 2. The second value of x is 1. So two values of x are there. Now let us solve question number 4. So what we have in this question? So x to the power 2 by 5 minus 5x to the power 1 by 5 plus 6 is equal to 0. So we have this equation, we need to solve this one. So pay attention, here we have 2 by 5 and here we have 1 by 5. So that means some resemblance is there. That means this one and this one is almost similar. Only difference is here 2 is there. So that means we can write this x to the power 2 by 5 as this one. That means we can write 1 by 5 multiplied by 2. So 1 by 5 multiplied by 2. So we can write it like that. So, okay. So we can write it like this way, 1 by 5 multiplied by 2. And then we can write these two separately. Like this. So 1 by 5 multiplied power 2. And then this. So now suppose x to the power 1 by 5 is equal to m. So this one is equal to m. So we have m square minus 5m plus 6. So we can solve it like that, like the previous method. So we can do middle term break, or we can use calculator, or we can use that formula to solve it. So if you solve it, you will see the value of m is equal to 2 and 3. So you will get, as I said before, you will get two values of m because here this is the second degree equation, m square minus 5m plus 6. This is the second degree equation. So you will get two values of m, which is 2 and 3. So first we will take either m is equal to 2 or m is equal to 3. So first we will solve this one, m is equal to 2. So m means x to the power 1 by 5. We assume that x to the power 1 by 5 is equal to 2 is equal to m. So m means x to the power 1 by 5, that is equal to 2. So now if you move this power to right hand side, it will become it will reverse. So that means we have 1 by 5, it will become 5 by 1. So that means only 5. So 2 to the power 5 is equal to 32. Now if you solve this one, here m is equal to 3. The other value of m is 3. So again m is x to the power 1 by 5. So if you move this power 1 by 5 to right hand side, it will become 3 to the power 5. So power we will get reverse of that power. So 1 by 5, it will become 5 by 1. So 5. So 3 to the power 5 is 243. Right. So this way you can solve question number 5, example 5 also. Example 6 also is very easy. You can solve it at your home. Right. Example 7. Let us solve example 7. So this is the equation we have. We need to solve this one. So first of all, we can see, so we will bring this 4x to left hand side. If you bring this 4x to left hand side, it will become minus 4x. Right. So now as you can see, we have 3x square. And then we have minus 4x. So 3x square minus 4x, 3x square minus 4x, and then we have minus 18. So I can write another step here so that you should not get confused. So we have 3x square minus 4x minus 18. So I am just arranging this one here. So I'm just arranging these ones. So 3x square minus 4x minus 18 plus this one is equal to 0. So now, here we have 3x square. So here inside the root we have 3x square minus 4x plus 6, right? And here also we have 3x square minus 4x, but here we have minus 18, whereas we have here plus 6. So to match it with these two, what we can do, we can keep this 3x square minus 4x, as here we have 3x square minus 4x, so like that we will keep it like that way. So 3x square minus 4x. Now we have minus 18 here. So to match it with this one, we will first write plus 6. So we will first write plus 6, and since we have plus 6 here, but we want to get minus 18. So what we will do? We will have a minus 24 there. So that means since you have added, so that means it is like this. Since you have added plus 6 was not there. Here it was minus 18. So plus 6 was not there. So we will add a minus 6 there. So that it should cancel each other out. And then we had a minus 18 before. So here we had minus 18. We didn't have any plus 6 there. But to match it with this one, we added a plus 6 there. So we added a plus 6 with these two terms. So 3x square minus 4x plus 6 to match it with this one. But here this plus 6 we have added it. This was not there in the previous line. So that's why we will write minus 6. So that this minus 6 should cancel this plus 6. And we had minus 18 in the previous line. So we had minus 18 in the previous line. So minus 18 minus 6, minus 18 minus 6, we can write minus 24. Minus 24. Right. So let me write another step there so that you shouldn't get confused. So that means here minus 6 minus 18, minus 6 minus 18, so we can write it like minus 24, minus 24, right, minus 24, like that. So now we have what? So 3x square plus minus 4x plus 6, let us keep it here, 3x square minus 4x plus 6, and then plus this one, and we will bring this minus 24 at the end, just rearranging it. So now let this root over 3x square minus 4x plus 6, let this one is equal to m. Let this one is equal to m. So let this one is equal to m. Right? Let this one is equal to m. So what we have here? So here we can write another step so that it will be easier for you. Right, so that means here we have 3x square minus 4x plus 6. So we can write it like root over 3x square minus 4x plus 6, and over that we have a power 2. So that means this power 2 will cancel this square root inside the bracket. So this power 2 will cancel the square root inside the bracket. So we will get this one back. So square root and power 2 will cancel each other out, so that we should get this one back. So then we can write the remaining part. We can write the remaining part like that. Right. So now, as I said, so let us assume this one as m. So let us assume this one as m. So if you assume this one as m, so that means this one is m, this one is m, so we have m square from this one, and then plus m, this one is m, so plus m minus 24 is equal to 0. So now if you solve it using calculator, or if you do middle term break, or if you use formula, if you solve it, you will get two values of m as usual. So these are the two values of m. So if you use calculator, you will see these are the two values of m. So first value of m is 4.4244. So this is the first value of m, which is 4.4244. Right. So m is equal to, we assume that m is equal to root over 3x square minus 4x plus 6. So which is 4.4244. So let us square both sides. If you square both sides, this square in the left hand, this square root, if you square both sides, this square root in the left hand side will no longer be there. So we will have this one. And then if you take a square on the right hand side also, you will get 19.5755. So now if you solve it, if you bring this to left hand side, so here we have plus 6, if you bring this one to left hand side, it will become minus, so 6 minus this one, so that means we will have minus 13.5755. Now if you, here another second degree equation, here we got another second degree equation. So if you solve it, you will see that here the value of a is 3, the value of b is minus 4, and value of c is minus 13.5755. So if you solve it using calculator, you will get two values of x. So this one, right? So another value of m was minus 5.4244. Another value of m is minus 5.4244. So m, as you know already, m is this one. If you take a square root, if you take a square in both sides, so this square root on the left hand side will no longer be there. If you take a square of this one, minus a plus, and 5.4244 square will be 29 point this one, right? So if you bring this one to left hand side, it will become minus. So 6 minus this one, we will get minus 23.4241. So similarly here, if you solve it using calculator, this is a is equal to 3, b is equal to minus 4, and c is equal to this one, minus 23.4241. So if you put it in your calculator and solve it, you will get another two values of x. So another two values of x. So these are the two values of. So we got total 4 values of x. We got total 4 values of x. This is the smallest one. This is the second smallest, and this is the third, and that's the fourth largest. Okay. So this is the way. In this way we can arrange it. So we got 4 values of x. Arranged it in ascending order. Right. So now let us solve example 8. This is an example of simultaneous equation. So if the demand and supply laws are respectively given by equations, that means the first one is demand equation, the second one is the supply equation. If demand and supply laws are respectively given by equations, that means the first one is the demand equation and second one is the supply equation. So find equilibrium price and quantity. The question is asking find equilibrium price and quantity. So first equation is 4q plus 9p plus is equal to 48. The first equation is equal to 4q plus 9p is equal to 48, and the second equation is p is equal to q by 9 plus 2. So let us simplify the second equation. Second equation is p is equal to q by 9 plus 2. So first we will solve these. We will simplify these one. Here 9 is the LCM or Loshagu. If you add these two, we will get q plus 18. So 9 multiplied by 2. That means q plus 18 divided by 9. Now if you do cross multiplication, what we have 9p is equal to q plus 18. So that means 9p minus q is equal to 18. So this is equation 2. So now we have two equations. First equation is 4q plus 9p is equal to 48, and the second equation is 9p minus q is equal to 18. So so suppose here the first variable is q. So here we have two variables p and q. So we have two equations. First equation is 4q plus 9p is equal to 48. So in the second equation we have 9p minus q is equal to 18 in the second equation. So two variables are there. So p and q. Suppose q is the first variable and p is the second variable. So here in the first equation the coefficient of q is equal to 4. And coefficient of p is equal to 9. In the second equation, coefficient of q is equal to minus 1 and coefficient of p is equal to 9. And in the first equation we have 48 in the right hand side, and the second equation we have 18 in the right hand side. So here q is the first variable and p is the second variable. So if you input this value in your calculator, and solve, you will see that q is equal to 6 and p is equal to 2.66. So that means at equilibrium point both these equations should be same. That means after we solve it, we got equilibrium quantity is equal to this one and equilibrium price is equal to this one, because at equilibrium point equation 1 and equation 2 will be same. So that means at equilibrium point, these two equations will be same. That means we will solve it, and we have solved it, and find the value of Q is equal to 6. That means that is the equilibrium quantity, Q for quantity, and P is the price. So this is the equilibrium price, right? So now let us solve question number 9. Demand for goods of an industry is given by equation PQ is equal to 100. So this is the demand equation where P is price and Q is quantity, and supply is given by the equation 20 plus 3P is equal to Q. So the question is asking find the equilibrium price and quantity, right? So here in the first equation we have PQ is equal to 100. So P is equal to 100 divided by Q. 100 divided by Q. So remember, at equilibrium point, demand is equal to supply. Demand is equal to supply. So that means from the first equation we got PQ is equal to 100. So P is equal to, if you move Q to the right hand side, we will get 100 divided by Q. So second equation we have 20 plus 3P is equal to Q. 20 plus 3P is equal to Q. So this is the supply equation. This is the demand equation. This is the demand equation. Demand equation. This is the demand equation. PQ is equal to 100. So P is equal to 100 divided by Q. This is the supply equation. This is the supply equation. This is the supply equation. So at equilibrium point, demand is equal to supply. At equilibrium point, demand is equal to supply. So that means the value of P can be, we can put the value of P in the supply equation. So here the value of P is 100 divided by Q. At equilibrium point, demand is equal to supply. So the value of P that we got from demand equation can replace the value of P in the supply equation. So value of P is equal to 100 divided by Q. Right. So now if you simplify, we have here 3 multiplied by 100. This 3 will get multiplied by this 100. So in the numerator we have 300. Q is the LCM, or in Bengali we call Loshagu. So Q multiplied by 20, we will get 20Q, and here plus we will get 3 multiplied by 100, that is 300, and in the right hand side we have Q. So if you do cross multiplication, Q multiplied by Q, we will get Q square. So that means what we have is 20Q plus 300 minus Q square is equal to 0. So this is the equation. So we need to solve these equations. So that means you can see here, this is a second degree equation. This is a second degree equation. How we got this? Because Q is the variable. In this equation, Q is the variable and highest power over the variable is 2. So this is a second degree equation. So we can solve it using calculator. So as I said before, if the coefficient with the squared variable, the Q is the variable and this is the squared term of the variable. The coefficient with the squared term of the variable is A. So coefficient with squared term of the variable is A. So here A is equal to minus 1. B is equal to, so A. So coefficient with the squared term, this is the squared term of the variable, and coefficient of the squared term of the variable, that means minus 1 is A. So B is the coefficient of the variable without the power. Coefficient of the variable without the power. So here this is B. So B is equal to 20. B is equal to 20. And C is equal to the remaining part. C is equal to this one, 300. C is equal to 300. So right, so if you put this value in your calculator and solve it, you will see that the value of q will be, you will get two values of q, which is 30 and minus 10. So q is the quantity. Q is the quantity. Quantity cannot be negative. Quantity cannot be negative. So that means this value is not accepted. So the value of quantity, value of q will be 30. So that means that is the equilibrium quantity. So equilibrium quantity is 30. Equilibrium quantity is 30. So if you, now we know the value of q is 30. So if you put the value of q in this equation, so here p is equal to 100 divided by q. If you put the value there, so that means p means equilibrium price. So equilibrium price p is equal to 100 divided by q. So 100 divided by the value of q is 30. So that means equilibrium price is 3.3333. So that's the answer. Right, so now we will solve the next question. Question number 10. The sum of the pay of two lecturers is 150,000 taka per month. The sum of the pay of two lecturers is 150,000 taka per month. So sum of two lecturers, the sum of the pay of two lecturers is 150,000 taka per month. If the pay of one lecturer, if the payment or if the salary of one lecturer be decreased by 9% and the pay of the second lecturer be increased by 17%, their pays become equal. Find the pay of each lecturer. So let's read out the question again. The sum of the pay of two lecturer is 150,000 taka per month. So, right? So suppose the sum of the payment of one lecturer is x. So that means sum of the payment of one lecturer is x. So in that case, sum of the other lecturer, the sum of one lecturer, the sum of the payment of two lecturer is 150,000 taka per month. That means their salary, if we add their salary, if we add both of their salary, it is 150,000 taka per month. Suppose one lecturer get x taka per month. So the other lecturer will get 150,000 taka minus x per month. So let us solve it. Suppose let monthly pay of one lecturer, monthly pay of first lecturer, monthly pay of one lecturer is x taka, is equal to x taka. So that means the monthly pay of the other lecturer, so monthly pay of the other lecturer, lecturer will be, so the total payment they get total to both of the lecturer, the sum of the payment of two lecturer is 150,000 taka. Sum of the payment of two lecturer, the sum of the pay of two lecturer is 150,000 taka per month. If one of them get x taka per month, that means the other lecturer will get this one minus x taka. So this one minus this one minus x taka. Is if one of them get x taka per month, then the monthly pay of the other lecturer will be 150,000 taka minus x. So that means that is the other lecturer's pay. Now the question is saying if the pay of one lecturer be decreased by 9%, if the pay of one lecturer be decreased by 9%. For example, it is now 100. If you decrease it by 9%, so that means at present he is getting 100. If it is decreased by 9%, decreased means minus 9. So that means this is the salary he will get. So 100 minus 9 multiplied by x. So if the payment is decreased by, if the payment of one lecturer is decreased by 9%, so decreased by 9% means 100 minus 9 multiplied by x. 9% means 9, 100 is the percentage, so 100 minus 9 multiplied by x. So, and the pay of the second be decreased by 17, increased by 17%. And the pay of the second lecturer be increased by 17%, their pay become equal. So that means their payment will become equal. So the pay of the second be increased by 17%. The pay of the second be increased by 17%. So 100 is the percentage, be increased by 17%. That means plus 17 of the second lecturer. That means second lecturer at present get this one. At present the second lecturer get this much. So if his salary is increased by 17%, that means 100 plus 17. In that case, both of their salary, this will be the second lecturer's salary, and this will be the reduced salary of the first lecturer. And in that case, both of their salary will be equal. So this one will be equal to this one. So 100 minus 9, that is 91x. Now if here we have 117. So 117 multiplied by 15,000, 150,000. If you multiply this one, we will get this one minus 117 multiplied by x. So we will have minus 117x. So here, if you bring this minus 117x to the left hand side, so we will get plus. So 117x plus 91x, we will have 208x is equal to this one. So x is equal to this one divided by 208. That means 84375. That means the current pay of one lecturer. Pay of one lecturer is this much taka. So the pay of the second lecturer or pay of the other lecturer is 150,000 minus this one, 150,000 minus 600, because the pay of the first lecturer is x taka, and we have already got the value of x is this one. So the pay of the first lecturer is this one, pay of first lecturer is this one, and the pay of the second lecturer or the other lecturer will be 150,000 minus this one. So that means 65,625 taka. So this is the pay of the second lecturer. This is the pay of the second lecturer. Right. So now let us move to example 21. Example 21. Right. Example 11. Now we will move to example 11. A commodity is produced by using 3 units of labor and 2 units of capital. A commodity is produced by using 3 units of labor and 2 units of capital. The total cost comes to 62. If the commodity is produced by using 4 units of labor and 1 units of capital, the cost comes to 56. what is the cost per unit of labor and capital. So let us assume that 1 unit of labor, cost x taka. Let us assume that 1 unit of labor cost x taka and 1 unit of capital cost y taka. So we have labor and capital, that's the two variable. So let us assume that 1 unit of labor cost x taka and 1 unit of capital cost y taka. So we can see that a commodity is produced by using 3 units of labor, that means 3x, plus 2 units of capital, that means 2y. So 3x plus 2y, and the total cost becomes 62. That is 62. I'm saying again, 1 unit of labor cost x taka, so 3 unit of labor will cost 3x taka. 1 unit of capital cost y taka, so 2 units of capital will cost 2y taka. So 3x plus 2y, so total cost is 3x plus 2y. 3x plus 2y is equal to total cost is 62, is equal to 62. Now, if the commodity is produced by using 4 units of labor, 1 unit of labor cost x taka, so 4 unit of labor will cost 4x taka, and 1 unit of capital cost y taka. So that means 4x plus y, total cost is 4x plus y, that is 56. So 4x plus y, that is 56. Now if you solve it using calculator like this way, you will see that the value of x is 10. That means labor cost per unit is x, which is 10, and y is 16. That means capital cost per unit is 16. Right. So now let's move to next one. Example 12. A man's income from interest and wages is 50,000 taka. A man's income from interest and wages is 50,000 taka. That means a man's income comes from interest and wages, and the total is 50,000 taka. If he doubles his investment, interest comes from investment, obviously. Interest comes from investment. So if he doubles his investment, his interest income will also double. If he double his investment, so obviously his interest income will also double, and also get an increase of 50% in wages. So if he gets an increase of 50% in wages, his income increases to 80,000. So his new income, total income will become 80,000. His total income will become 80,000 taka. So what was his original income separately in terms of interest and wages? So let income from interest is x and income from wages is y. Suppose we are assuming that income from interest is x and income from wages is y. So total income from interest and wages, that means x plus y, is 50,000 taka at present. Now if he doubles his investment, that means interest income will double. So interest income is x now. So if he doubles his investment, interest income will also double. So he will get 2x taka, and also get an increase of 50% in wages. So at present, for example, at present you have 1 taka. So at present income is y. At present income from wages. So at present income from wages is y. So you get a 50% increase in wage. 50%. So that means half of y. That means you get an increase of half of y. So that means the new income will be y plus half of y. That means it is like this. So new wage income will be y plus half means 0.5y. I'm saying again. So at present his income from wage is y. At present income from wage is y. So at present income from wages is y. So if he gets an increase of 50% in wages, that means 50% means 0.5. 50% means 0.5. That means half. That means if he get a increase in half of the wages, so that means 0.5. Half means 0.5. 50% means half. That means 0.5. So at present his income from wage is y. Now if he gets a increase means plus. That means if he gets an increase, that means 0.5y. That means y plus 0.5y. That means we will have 1.5y. We will have 1.5y. So initially it was 1. Then we get a 50% increase. That means 0.5. So we will have 1.5y is equal to. So if he get a 50% increase in also wages, his total income will become his income increases to 80,000. 2 means his new income will become 80,000. So we see his new income will be 80,000. So these are the two equations we have. Now we can solve it very easily. We know how to solve this equation. So we can solve it. Now question number 13. By selling a table for 25,000 taka, gain is as much percentage as it cost in taka. What is the cost price? So that means here, for example, the cost price we don't know. So cost price of the table, let's see, the cost price of the table is x. So let's see, the cost price of the table is x. So by selling a table for 25,000 taka, gain means profit or return. Gain is as much percentage as it cost in taka. Gain is as much percentage as it cost in taka. So cost is x taka. Cost of the table is x taka. So gain is also x percentage. Gain is also cost of the table is x taka. So by selling at 25,000 taka, gain is also x percent. So gain is as much percentage as it cost. So if the cost is x, so gain is also x percentage. So gain is also x percentage. So if the cost is x taka, and if you sell the table at 25,000 taka, if you can sell the table at 25,000 taka and cost is x taka, so profit is 25,000 minus x. So this is the profit. 25,000 minus x, which is equal to as much as percentage as it cost. That means which is equal to cost percentage. So which is equal to cost is x. So which is equal to x percentage. So we know that x percentage, if you convert percentage, so if you convert percentage, so that means x percent means x divided by 100. X percent means x divided by 100. Now if you solve it, you will see that the value of x is 24,752. That means cost price of the table is this one. Right. Now let's solve question number example 14. A horse and a cow were sold for 500,000 taka, making a profit of 25,000 on the horse and 10% on the cow. So a horse and a cow were sold for 5 lakh taka or 500,000 taka, making a profit of 25,000 on the horse, 25% on the horse and 10% on the cow. By selling them for 475,000, that means 4,75,000 taka, the profit realized would have been 10% on the horse and 25% on the cow. So find the cost price of each. Find the cost price of horse and the cost price of cow. So for example, let cost price of the horse is X and the cost price of the cow is Y. So if you can sell it at at 5 lakh taka, you will be able to make a profit on 25% on the horse. So 25% on the horse means if the price of the horse is 1 taka, you will make a profit of 0.25 taka on the horse. So with the profit, the price will become 1.25. So 25% profit on the horse. That means the price of the horse is 1.25 taka. If the price of the horse is X taka, cost price of the horse is X taka. So let me write it like this way. X plus 0.25x, y plus 0.10y. So pay attention. So here the question told us. So question told us that if you can sell it at the price of, if you can sell it at 500,000 taka or 5 lakh taka, you can make a profit of 25% on the horse. You can make a profit of 25% on the horse. So horse price is cost of the horse. Cost of the horse is X taka. Cost of the horse is X taka. You can make a 25% profit on the horse. So 25% profit means, that means X taka is the cost, and you can make a 25% profit on the cost. So 25% means 0.25. 25% means 0.25 on the cost. That means profit will be 0.25 into X. 0.25 into X. Right. And you can make, you can make a profit, 10% profit on the cow. So cow price is Y. Cow price is Y. So you can make a profit of 10% means 0.10. So cost of the cow is Y, and on top of that cost you can make a 10% profit. So 10% profit on the cost. So that means 10% means 0.10 and cost is Y. So this is the profit. So total will be 5 lakh taka. So total will be 5 lakh taka. So that means X plus 0.25x, that means 1.25x. So 1.25x. So that means 1.25x. So that means the cost is, if you assume that cost of the horse is 1 taka and you are making 20, if you assume that cost of the horse is 1 taka and you are making 25% profit on it. So out of 1 taka you are making, so from 1 taka cost you are making 25 paisa. 25% means out of 1 taka you are making 25 paisa profit. So with profit, cost is 1 taka, profit is 25 paisa, that means 25%. So with cost and the profit, the sales price is 1.25 taka. Sales price is 1.25 taka. So since the cost is not 1 taka, cost is X taka, cost of the horse is X taka, so we will multiply it by 1.25 into X. Again, you can make 10% profit on the cow. You can make a 10% profit on the cow. So let's suppose the cow price, cost of the cow is 1 taka. Cost of the cow is 1 taka. You can make a 10% profit on the cow. So that means you can make a, if the cost is 1 taka, if the cost of the cow is 1 taka, if the cost of the cow is 1 taka, in that case you can, if you make a 10% profit on the cost, that means you can make a 10 paisa profit. So with profit is 10 paisa, cost is 1 taka, that means sales price is 1.10. Sales price is 1 taka 10 paisa. So sales price is 1.10. So since the cow price is not 1 taka, is Y taka, so we will multiply it by Y. So that means 1.10 taka. That's the sales price of cow. That's the sales price of horse. So together total sales price is 5 lakh taka. Total sales price is 5 lakh taka. Now the second information, by selling them for 475,000 taka, that means 4,75,000 taka, the profit realized, that's the total sales price, total sale. So if you can sell the cow and horse at this price, the profit realized would have been 10% on the horse. So 10%, profit will be 10%. If the cost is 1 taka, profit is 10 paisa. So total 1.10. Horse is X, the cost price of horse is X. So we will have 1.10x. So 1.10x. And you can make a profit of 25% on the cow. So that means cow price is Y. So that means 1.25y. And the total will be 475,000 taka. So by selling them at 475,000 taka. Here is a slight mistake is there. This is 475,000. So this is 475,000. 475,000. So 475,000. So this is 475,000. So 475,000. So this is the equation. This is the equation we got. So this is the equation we got. We know how to solve this equation using calculator. So you can solve this equation using calculator, and you will see that the value of x is this one. The value of x is this one. That means the cost price of the horse is this one, and value of y, that means cost price of cow, is this one. So that will be the end of equation chapter. That will be the end of equation chapter. Question number 15, example 15, example 16, 17, 18, 19. This problem you solve it at your home. If you find any problem, you can contact me over Skype, you can contact me over WhatsApp, over Messenger, or you can ask me in the class also. So that's the end of our today's lecture.